What's going on, guys? This is Matt Allen. As you know, the college football season is just right around the corner. And so I decided I'm going to start doing some college football previews for all of your favorite college football teams. Now I'm going to start this off with my favorite college football team, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. The Bulldogs last year finished at a record of 9-3. And even though at one point they were ranked in the top 25, they did not reach a bowl game. But as for this year, I really see a lot of potential for them with a new head coach in Skip Holtz and being in a new conference in Conference USA. Now, I'm going to go through their schedule from top to bottom and give you my opinion on what's going to happen in each game and give you obviously their overall record and what lies ahead for the future. Now, I'm going to start it off with their first game being on the road in Raleigh, North Carolina, as they will take on the North Carolina State Wolfpack. That's going to be a very good football game to me. Two teams that are very talented, were capable of being in bowl games. I think for Louisiana Tech it's going to be a good game, but it's not going to be good enough. I think it's going to be, in the end, fairly close for the most part, but somehow, some way, I think the Wolfpack at home will find a way to pull away and beat Tech, I'd say, by at least maybe 10-14. So Louisiana Tech will start the season at 0-1. But then after that, we get to the first home game of the season for the Dogs, as they'll take on 1AA team. Let's go from the 1AA Lamar Cardinals, and that will be an easy tune-up game for them. They will roll Lamar very easily. No disrespect to the Lamar Cardinals, but you're not in our league. Then the Tech will get to 1-1. So then next, it'll be the first game for them in a new conference. As, like I said, they're in Conference USA. Their first Conference USA game will be against the Tulane Green Wave. And once again, that's another game that I just see as a laugher. Tulane was just beyond bad in a lot of categories, outside of maybe their special teams. They do have the Lou Grozo Award winner in their place kicker. But outside of that, what else do they really have? I see Tech rolling easily. They'll move on to 2-1 and get their first conference win in Conference USA. Then we get to another non-conference game as they'll take on the Kansas Jayhawks up there in Lawrence, Kansas. And I really see that as another laugher because of the fact based on what happened for Kansas last year, I don't see any way possible that they'll come in and roll Louisiana Tech. Tech's got way too much talent, way too much experience on that team for them to just go up there and lay an egg. So I see another blowout by Louisiana Tech. They'll move up to 3-1. And then we now head to Dallas, Texas. This will be a neutral site game for the Dogs as they'll take on the Army Black Knights in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl for the first ever Heart of Dallas Classic. I think this is very fun for both teams. Good experience. I really see, though, Louisiana Tech once again, just with that good offense. I think it's going to be a very much more improved defense going in there and taking what they want from Army and winning it by, I'd say, at least from a range of 10-17. I don't see Army really being close in this game at all. So, once again, the Dogs win again. They'll move up to 4-1. Then we get to our next game. They'll be on the road as they'll go to El Paso, Texas to play the University of Texas at El Paso Miners. This is another intriguing game. I like both teams here, and it's a game that could be what I think a lot of fans would call a trap game for Tech. This is a team that, even though the record I don't think was really any good, this was a team last year that played Oklahoma and took it down to the wire with this Sooner team. So I could see very well, in the end, Louisiana Tech losing this game to the Miners and falling to 4-2. Then we head on to our next game as they will take on North Texas, another laugher. It's homecoming for the Dogs. They take on the Mean Green. And sorry, Mean Green, you have no chance. No, I know anything can happen on any given day. It won't be on that day. I'm sorry. Too much firepower. The Mean Green, what do they really have? It's going to be another laugher. Let's just say Tech wins by a minimum of 3 touchdowns. Then next, it's the Bulldogs up on the road to Florida International. They take on another team in the Sun that was now coming into a new conference like them. They're coming from the Sun Belt. And, well, this is not one of the good Sun Belt teams. Not to say they can't be good this year, but based on what I saw last year, they didn't really prove anything to me that they can go in on even though this game's in at Florida International. Once again, too much firepower. Tech will more than likely win this. It might be somewhat close. I would give it a deficit, maybe a 10-point deficit, but that's really about as close as I'm going to, and that Tech wins again. Then we get to a very tough part. The final part of Tech's schedule is pretty tough. We start out back at home in Ruston to take on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, which I think will be the best game for Louisiana Tech all season. These are two teams that are evenly matched with 2 first-year head coaches, obviously with Tech having Skip Holtz and Southern Miss having new head coach, former offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State, Todd Monken. I think these are 2 teams that are going to have high-octane, moving offenses, quick. Very competitive, very entertaining. I see Tech squeaking out a win by a touchdown, possibly going to overtime in this one. But they will pull this one out. Then we get to Houston, Texas, as they'll go on and take the Rice Owls. Another game. Rice I saw the preseason polls for Rice. They're ahead of Louisiana Tech in the preseason polls. But I just cannot see any way, really, that Tech goes, even though it could be somewhat of a trap game with the record that I see it having. But Tech's going to find a way to pull it out. And close as it might get to a touchdown. But Tech will pull it out. They'll get to 8-2. Then it'll be senior day for the Dogs. They'll go back home to play the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, the defending Conference USA champions. This will be very big. This will more than likely be for the Western Division. And as good as I think Tech is, I don't see them winning this game. I saw a good bit of Tulsa last year. They have a very talented offense with that running game they have. I think it's going to be close for most of the game, but in the end, Tulsa will find a way to pull it out and get the victory. I hope it doesn't really happen, but I just, as far as right now, I see that being a loss, and Tech falls to 8-3. Then we get to the finale, as they'll take on the UTSA Roadrunners in San Antonio, Texas. This game from last year was very good. Got a little bit heated. But, once again, I see Tech, after that big loss at home, they're going to want to take it out on somebody. And they're going to go in, to me, and just roll UTSA. Finish out the year with a big win. Go to finish at 9-3. And, in my opinion, will finish second in Conference USA Western Division and get into a fairly good bowl game. So that is my prediction for the Bulldogs. Now, I want to know who you want me to do next. Which college team do you want me to preview next? And I also want to hear what you think of my prediction for the Bulldogs. Is it good? Is it bad? I want to hear it. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here because I've got other things to do. So, with that being said, you guys have a good day.